Greetings everybody, and welcome back to another ASMR video. So I thought I would do a sort of show and tell video where I talk about some of the items I have on my TV stand. And the first one here is this little crystal tree. I got this at a little pop-up shop in my area, where they sell kind of like a farmer's market where there's lots of little jewelry and some clothing items and things. And I thought this one was really cool. This has, I believe it's hematite on these leaves. And then there's like a subtle rose quartz for the ground. And then the tree, I don't think it's a crystal, I think it's just molded out of some metal, it feels like. If it's not metal, I'm not sure what it is. I'm pretty sure it's not plastic. But there's like a heavy, I think metal, and then the branches are these little twisted wires. And you can kind of see the glue on the bottom from where they glue the leaf stones on. But what you can do is you can bend them. So you can kind of shape your tree however you want. And I have it on this little piece of fabric, just so it doesn't clink on the table because it's kind of heavy. And it's a rock, so it does make a clinky sound. So there's the base here, there's a level of dark stone for the outside. And then there's little pieces of amethyst. I might have called it rose quartz before, but I'm pretty sure it's amethyst. It's been so long since I got it, and I used to be really into stones, and I knew all the names of everything and could identify all the different types of stones, but it's been about 8 or 9 years since I really delved into that. So now I have another stone collection. I should probably just do an ASMR video on that. But I'd have to relearn all the names, because if I brought those ones out, I would just say I don't know what this one is. And that probably doesn't make for an interesting video. But this one is, I'm pretty sure, hematite. And in another video I did a few weeks ago, I did a jewelry box ASMR, and I have some rings that are made out of this same material. Or same stone, I guess I should say. I think it's all material though. But yeah, I really like how you can just kind of bend and mold and shape these leaves and branches. So you can, if you wanted to, leave it on your desk and change it around whenever you felt like it. It just kind of feels like a newish sort of thing each time you move it. So I keep this thing on my TV stand. That's the first thing. And then this next thing, a few things I'm not sure what order to go in, but I'll bring out this thing. This thing is just a heavy, more or less it's like a marble. It's a big old marble. And it has a flat base, which is probably hard to see. Let's see if I can position it. It has this kind of flat base here. You can see my light reflecting in it. And that's obviously so roll around. They do make bases for spherical things. So I'm kind of divided on the idea. Part of me of wishes this was fully round, and then I could get a base for it. But then also part of me likes that it is. It does have a flat base, that way I can put it on the ground or a surface, and you can see the whole thing without a base being distracting of what it is. So I got this one a long time ago, and I used to use this in a lot of my photo shoots. So I'd do some creative shoots, and then I would have it somewhere in the image, whether it be somebody holding it or set on a table. And I thought for a while that this would be kind of like my signature style, if you will, where you'd always see this in one of my photos. But then, as you grow, you kind of learn that it's sort of cheesy. So I stopped using it. And actually I haven't used it for a long time. The one thing too is it is kind of gaudy. It's very hard to put into many scenarios. So that's another reason why I don't use it. But for what it is, it's kind of cool. Obviously it has these little shapes in there. It's hard to trace them because the camera's backwards. And there's some blues. There's some pinks. Some greens. It's not very tappy. It's just very dense. It's so solid. I kind of have to tap really hard for it to even register. Now it's kind of a louder tap. Also, my camera fan is kind of loud, so that might overtake the tapping. And then, I don't know if I've already mentioned, but I'm not sure where I got this. I think I got it at some sort of yard sale. I think it was like $1 or $2, or maybe it was like given to me. Because I thought it was cool, and it's obviously hard to use. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm curious what its original intent was. If there was any original intent, or if it was just made for what's called, or what's known as a tchotchke, which, as far as I'm aware, tchotchkes are little just things that really serve no purpose other than be like decor. So maybe that's what this is for. But I'm curious if it ever had a bigger purpose, if it was part of a set of something. There was multiple of them. It's kind of interesting how you end up with things in your life. I wonder if that's being picked up at all. It's kind of the low tone, slow frequencies. I want to bring it up near the mic, but then I'd be out of frame, and that's not as interesting. item number 2. So then item number 3 is this kind of display. So this is a Day of the Dead kind of style. I got this when I was in Mexico somewhere. I think it was Puerto Vallarta. Might say on the bottom. Nope. There was a price tag sticker on here that I don't think I fully removed. But I got this when I went to Mexico. I used to work for a company that we would travel a lot for their events. And we went to a lot of different places. And usually when I'd go there, I'd get some sort of trinket or little tiny item, which I have a small, call it a curio. I think that's the word for it. It's a little tiny shelf of small items that I used to keep on my desk for when I'd travel. Hopefully this is in focus. I'm gonna move it just a little bit. There we go. And I should do an ASMR video on that because I have a lot of interesting things in there. But this is one that I got. Usually I would go and I'd try to find something that was actually about the size of the figure inside this box so that it could all fit in my curio. But when we were out there, we didn't have a lot of time to go kind of spend and do personal things. There's a lot of filming and a lot of work. And so I would try to find something that's small. But the particular shop I went in, this was kind of the smallest thing they had that looked interesting to me. I mean, there's always a lot of keychains, but I like things that are different than keychains. So this is just a little, looks like an operating table. Funny thing about this is I never fully examined what it is. I just kind of like the concept and the colors and the size, and that's the reason I purchased it. But if I'm looking at this, it sort of looks like there's a guy on an operating table, and there's another friend. I don't actually even know the story here. If you have an idea for the story, or if you know, I'd love to hear down in the comments what it is. This is basically a fully enclosed box. It feels like there's thick tape around the sides that actually seal up the box. The bottom's like small pieces of wood. It's kind of an overhead window, and then the rest is all wood. I really like this thing. It's got a little bit of weight to it. It probably is very cheaply made, but I like that it doesn't feel cheaply made. And when I look really close, I can see kind of the plastic and obviously the tape. It's probably unpainted, but it feels like it was done really nicely. So it feels like it's kind of a handcrafted sort of thingy. So, I think it's pretty cool. So I leave this one also on my TV stand. I have another thing like it, but I have another sounds thing, which is this little bell. Hopefully this isn't too loud. This is a little bell that I got. I would try and do it with my fingernail. It's just kind of a metal bell. And it has the wooden hammer inside. And it's made of metal, I'm not sure what type, maybe brass, copper maybe. And there's a place in my area that sells all of the crystals and stones that I used to go to. Well, I still go to pretty often. But I went there on my birthday one year, a few years ago, and I don't normally do any birthday stuff, but I thought this had a really nice sound, so I picked it up. It was a couple $, and it probably should go outside. Maybe near it, you have some wind chimes. But I like it. There's no real sentimental value to it. Just kind of nice. Kind of a fun little thing. But I leave it on my TV stand, and every so often I'll ring it. But it does have a really nice sound, I think. Bring it closer to the mic. Depending on where you hit it, there's a little bit of a scent change. If you don't know, in music there's your notes, and then there's the tone between notes, or tunings, which is your sense. So if it's right on your tune, you're in tune. But if it's bending up just a little bit, sometimes they'll not sometimes, but they always say it's up a few cents. So, depending on the pitch or the area, the pitch can change a little bit. I should tune this with my guitar tuner and see what note it is, because I really like this note. I do have a singing bowl that I'll show you in a moment, but I've never played together, so I'm curious if their notes are the same, because I do like the sound of the singing bowl. This is just a little bell that I got for my birthday. Okay, I'll show you this other little display thing. This one, I think it was in Greece. That's where I got this one. not 100% sure. Sometimes they say on the bottom. Yep, Santorini. So, this one was in Santorini that I got this. And this is kind of the same thing. The reason I keep this one on my TV stand is because of the size. Like I mentioned, it can't go in that curio that I have. Because curio, I only have things that are about 1 inch in size. And the place we stopped off to buy souvenirs must not have had anything smaller than this that was interesting to me. So that's the reason I have this one. This one's kind of a ship in a bottle sort of scenario. There's the ship, the little ocean, and there's a sort of beach with a big old seashell in comparison to the ship, and a lighthouse. And it looks like there's the house portion of the lighthouse down here, which if the light hits it just right, it sort of looks like the lights are turned on. This one has some tapping sounds. They're about the same as the marble. I only have fingernails on my right hand because I've clipped them all off for guitar playing on the left hand. But it also makes me wonder how they built this one, because there's no, it's obvious they have to build it inside the bottle. There's a thought that they could glass blow around it, but my other thought, I don't know glass blowing very well, but my other thought is that if they put this all together and glass blew around it, it would probably melt everything inside. So, unless that's a possibility in the glass blowing world, I assume they just assembled everything afterwards, which the sand and the ocean seemed like it was some sort of goo, if you will, that you could probably just stick a syringe in and then syringe it down and let that dry and harden. The seashells could easily be put in by tweezers or tongs. I don't know what the long things are called. I call them tweezers. And then same thing with the lighthouse. I assume the sails probably be easy to get. Semi-easy. They do seem a little wider than the bottle opening. So the sails might be the hardest thing to really get in there. So it'd be kind of interesting to know how they assembled this. But I do like the details they have on it. You have the bottle and the whole nautical theme. And then around the bottle cap, there's this string that resembles rope. And on the base here, you have some rope. And then the base or the holder or whatnot, it's kind of a wood shiplap kind of feel. And then the carving style, the shape of the neck holder one's kind of cool design, I think. And this one is one I got in Greece, or Santorini, sorry. And I keep this one on my TV stand as well. I have another sounds thing. This one is that singing bowl that I was telling you about. This one my brother gave to me. He went to India for a wedding, actually, and brought this thing back. I think this is one of the coolest gifts I've ever received. Try and set that knocker so it's not rolling off the table. But it has some script on the side, which I cannot read. I assume it says something. It could be just decorative, but it seems like it might say something. And then on the bottom, some more decorations. These look like little crowns. Actually, let me move this out of the way so I can show it a little better. These crowns, sort of looking things. That sort of has a yin-yang sort of vibe. And there's these other designs, which to me look like a snake of number 2s. And then on the inside, there is another design. I think this would be the right side up. Looks like there's kind of a little heart, if you can barely make out. It's kind of cool design. I'm guessing this was hand-etched. Maybe. Gotta see some imperfections. I'm not sure what the metal is. Maybe it's brass, maybe it's the same as the bill. And then you have the little, which I call it a knocker. There might be a actual name for this. But you can, whoops, hopefully that's not too loud. You can rotate it. I think it's on the outside. Trying to go gently so it's not too loud. Because the mic is pretty sensitive. So now I'm curious to hear what the two different sounds sound like together. I like those. Maybe I'll do a longer sounds video. I would like to get a couple more of these. I know the store that I bought the bell at sells some bowls. And they know they have them imported, so there might be some traditional Indian ones. Here's some more imperfections. So, if I get more of them, I will definitely do a sounds video. So that is my singing bowl. I have two more things. Hopefully this video is not insanely long. The next of these, I think they're called bocce balls. There's a little hair in there. I got these ones when I was in California, in their little Chinatown district. And my grandfather had a set of these in his living room. He kept them on his coffee table, and he would use them to kind of roll around. And I always remember asking my grandparents if I could have things around their house. And a lot of times they were dumb things that I thought were cool because I was like 7 or 8. Probably like junk mail type things or just stuff that was stupid. And they'd normally say yes to quite a few things. And I remember seeing these, and I asked my grandpa if I could have, well, not these, but his ones. And I asked if I could have them, and he said nope. And I felt really sad because I totally wanted them. But he obviously used them a lot. And they have little bells in them. So I got a version of my own for 2 reasons, because they're cool, and 2, they remind me of my grandfather, which I really loved. He's a really cool guy. And so now I have a set of these. The case is kind of cheaply made. It's kind of almost falling apart. I should probably find a better case for them. But the balls are pretty nice, I think. I mean, there's probably obviously better ones, because these were just from a gift shop in California. And there was these types of, there are bocce balls in like every gift shop. So they're probably not the highest quality, but they're fun, and I really like them. And they look nice. And they have these little chimes in them. They also have little yin-yangs, which I really like the concept of yin and yang. You have to have balance and everything. And then they have these little other designs, which I have no idea what they should be. I'll try and do them on camera here. Hopefully they're not too loud. They do seem like they're kind of loud. I think the idea is to be able to do it well enough, good enough, not sure the proper word there, that the chimes chime pretty consistently. I'm sure it's a combination of the quality of these and the ability. But there's some degree of, no matter how fluid I get with them, they may not chime the best because they're not made incredibly precise. So if I did get some larger ones, some more nicer ones, they might chime better. kind of, or more like they're annoying to hear. I'm curious if this is something you like hearing. Or if it's just kind of annoying. So, these are the bocce balls, which I'm pretty sure that's the right name. Hopefully it is. Otherwise it's kind of a funny word. Put the yin and yang facing up. Close it down. And then the very last thing, it's kind of another grandfather reference, is this pocket watch. This thing was on my grandparents' mantle, I believe. They had a few different houses, so it might have been over their mantle in one house and on their TV stand in another. So I keep it on my TV stand. It does work, I believe. I'm not sure. Let me move all the stand out of the way. The stand is kind of, I feel like the stand might be an aftermarket thing they got, because the base, or the top part is just plastic, and the bottom part is just kind of it does feel sort of cheap. And the pocket watch feels nicer, so I think the base might have just been some aftermath thing they got. But the pocket watch is Elgin, it's the name. It's kind of what it looks like. As far as I'm aware, it's pretty old. I think it's from the 20s, maybe. I think it was my grandfather's grandfather. There's a little bit of etching on the back. Hopefully this is all in focus. See if I can move this one a little bit. Hopefully that's kind of all in focus. Some etching on the back. There's some etching up here. The back can be opened up, obviously. Part of me thought I could do it myself, but I do think you'd need jeweler's tools or watchmaker's tools. It has a nice little chain on it with like a little clasp. I think you'd put this through your buttonhole on your vest. And that's got a few inch chain. Got a really nice design chain, I think. And then there's the knob on the top, which you can pull out to set. Which actually has kind of a nice click. Let's see if I can get it closer to camera. So that's the click from the top part here. And then you can, I believe, twist it. Let's do this. This feels like it's winding it. I'm not any further. As far as I'm aware, this does work, but I am not seeing any of the hands move. Hold it like this. So I'm not able to pull this thing out any further. Sometimes these, I think it's still called a crown. Sometimes these crowns have a second pull out. Another watch I have that has two, where I think one, you'd pull it out to wind it, and then you'd pull it out a little further and it would allow you to set the time. So, I kind of want to tap on it to see if it makes any of the internal things move, like maybe something is stuck. But on the same hand, pardon the pun, I don't want to tap too much because I don't want to jostle anything around inside. Although, this was worn in a day-to-day scenario. So, I think the original use or user may have taken less care than I am, because to them this was like an everyday item. And to me this is an antique, so it might be okay to be jostled. But since I don't know for sure, I figured I would take extra caution. But I think that's as much as I'll get it to move.